Hey, friends, it is an exciting day. Today, we announce the return of your favorite show. No, maybe not, but our favorite show, How to Eat an Elephant. I'm your host,
Woohoo!
Ian Andrews, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Megan and Emily. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hello.
You guys, it's about time to do it again.
We're back.
Finally,
I know.
We've chosen
you
another
thought it would never
tome.
happen.
Yeah, we thought it would never happen. I'm so excited to get back into the show with you guys.
Me too.
So tell me a little bit about the selection process, because I'm sure our listeners are interested in how exactly we choose the next tome to tackle. Tome to tackle. That I like that. Tome to tackle.
That sounds like another show. Everything CenterForLit does is alliterated.
Tackling
Tackling
tomes.
tomes.
We are merry punsters, one and all.
Well, I remember the selection process of this book being very pleasant to read.
Yeah.
We were on the banks of a beautiful river. We were toasting and cheersing the end of our last season, and we were batting around ideas and feedback we've gotten from our listeners. And there was some verbal sparring as we narrowed down the options. It was all very pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things that has taken place since our last season is that we have been joined by a fourth interlocutor. You can likely hear her in the background. Her name is Charlotte. She is 6 months old.
She is so cute.
She really wants to be involved.
Very insistent, very vocal.
So, anyways. Emily, what did we choose?
Well, okay, so we've done two big tomes from the 1800s. We've done War and Peace, and we have done Les Miserables. And we had it turns out a lot of the big tomes are from the 1800s. And we had a lot of listener suggestions for books in that category. And we are going to come back to them. But among the three of us, we have always wanted to read something that is from the 20th century. So we're gonna shift tacks here in our third season towards something a little bit newer, but equally as long, maybe as intimidating for some of our listeners. We are going to read. It just feels really anticlimactic. Like I need like a drum roll or like
I can't do a drum roll. I wish I could.
I'm not even going to try because it'll be preserved, and I'm intimidated. Imagine a drum roll, everyone.
Okay. So we're gonna do Steinbeck's East of Eden.
East of Eden,
which we've all wanted to read for a very long time. None of us have read it before.
One of the key reasons, by the way. If any listeners are disappointed that we're doing that, none of the three of us have read it, and we're really excited to have fresh eyes on the project.
Yes. Yeah, and it'll just be we'll come back to the long list of, maybe more enduring, I don't want to say enduring classics, but more like recognizable titles after this one. But we're really excited to turn to something a little more modern, and that we know nothing about. I know nothing about this book, like almost nothing. Like Tim Shell is pretty much my only like.
And I would just say to Tim Shell, Gesundheit. I don't even know what.
I was going to say I don't even know Tim Shell. So
Tim Shell and James Dean.
Well, I was going to say, all I know about it is once upon a time, and it was a long time ago, I watched James Dean's whole discography, everything he's ever been in. And East of Eden was in there somewhere. Mostly what I remember is James Dean is the same character in any movie that he plays. So all of those movies ran together. And
just
most
kind of blend.
I remember is him looking handsome and put upon, like the put upon.
Handsome and put upon.
It's like, so he's got a popped leather jacket collar, and he's mad at his. Like, that's what I remember about him.
Well, so, I don't know a lot about Steinbeck either. My only context for him comes from a brief examination, I guess you could call it, of a travel log that he wrote called Travels with Charlie. I think Charlie was the dog. I think it was his dog that he took with him on his travels. And his stated aim was, I'm going to go on this big long trip, and I'm going to see America because I've spent my career writing about America, and I want to go see it and experience it. And so he went along writing these essays about all the places that he stopped and stayed. And so really for me, it was, I just want to know what he sounds like. Like, what is this guy's style?
Right.
And I have to report to you that this is going to be really fun because his style is spectacular. Get a load of this. Here's a quotation from Travels with Charlie in Search of America. I think it's kind of funny. Charlotte is our daughter's name. She's the one that you hear persistently in the background, and we call her Charlie. So this is going to be Travels with Charlie. This
We are currently traveling with
season.
Charlie.
This is Travels
I
with
just
Charlie.
also feel like I have to say that just so everyone knows, she's not angry.
No.
Or
She's not
upset.
in pain. She's not angry. This is just her way of
she likes to
expressing herself.
vocalize. She is, after all, Ian's daughter. So
Ian, for those of you who don't know Ian personally, although I'm sure you all feel that you do at this point, Ian has been known, when he is alone, he's been known to get lonely and walk around the house just vocalizing to himself. So he earned everything Charlie is dishing out.
It's true. I earned all of it. I was recently home alone, and I spent the entire afternoon talking to myself out loud.
Yeah.
I cannot help myself. Okay, but I want to read you this quotation because I think we're going to have a lot of fun with Steinbeck in terms of his style. So this is from Travels with Charlie in Search of America. When the virus of restlessness begins to take possession of a wayward man, and the road away from here seems broad and straight and sweet, the victim must first find in himself a good and sufficient reason for going. This, to the practical bum, is not difficult. He has a built-in garden of reasons to choose from. Next, he must plan his trip in time and space, choose a direction and a destination, and last, he must implement the journey, how to go, what to take, how long to stay. This part of the process is invariable and immortal. I set it down only so that newcomers to bumdom, like teenagers in new-hatched sin, will not think that they invented it.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that great? Bumdom.
Bumdom.
The rest of the travelogue is equally delightful.
I haven't read any of his like really famous works. I have actually, Ian, you and I both listened to The Pearl on audiobook on our way to a ski trip once.
That's correct. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, and I for my survey class from this period, we didn't read Of Mice with Men. We didn't read Grapes of Wrath. We read In Dubious Battle, which was horrible. It was a horrible experience for me. It's just so. Oh, look who it is! Hello, Charlotte girl.
She could not be denied.
She's feeling much better.
Feeling much better being in the conversation. Do you have anything to say?
I know Dubious Battle was bad.
Well, it's just very political. So Steinbeck had like this kind of socialist labor party kind of interest, and it's extremely didactic, like Dickens at his most extreme, you know. I'm sure it's not as bad as I remember it being. I'm sure it's actually pretty good. In fact, I think James Franco did a movie version of In Dubious Battle. You know, when James Franco was doing all those like heavy literary hitters.
He was trying anyway.
Yeah. So I probably need to revisit that, but my memory of it was like, why are we reading this and not like one of his more famous works? So I'm actually not all that familiar with Steinbeck myself.
So
Megan, do you know anything about Steinbeck?
Do I?
Yeah.
I mean, I know some like broad strokes thematic ideas from East Eden because our sister-in-law Ellen also read this book and loved it and has been wanting Emily and I to read it for a long, long time. So I know like generally that this is going to be really thought-provoking and just the whole concept is very intentional, has some biblical roots, of course, as we guess by the name, and that he does a good job of drawing things all together. So I'm anticipating, great work of the American tradition. But I don't know much about Steinbeck personally.
I had a good friend who was so moved by this book that she got a tattoo of Tim Shell in Hebrew. So, good recommendations all around. People really, really tend to love this book once they've read it. So,
I would say Ian and I are woefully unprepared for Steinbeck because our mother, Missy, decided that she did not like him, that he was depressing, and so refused to teach any Steinbeck of any kind.
This is true. I
Wait,
can
really?
confirm this.
Yep. To this day, she will not recommend Steinbeck and refuses to teach him.
Which one did she read that she thought was depressing? I mean,
What
any
a
of them, but
great question. What a great question. It could be that she read an excerpt of Steinbeck, decided he was a nihilist, and refused to continue. I don't know that she's ever read like a whole work of Steinbeck. I just know
Shots
that the line
fired.
from Whiskey is she does not like it.
Awesome.
I just think I'm the most excited, and I already said this, but I'll say it again. I'm the most excited to just spend some time reading someone as articulate and funny as John Steinbeck. And I don't know if funny is his reputation, but from the little that I have read, he's hilarious. He at one point in this travelogue, he writes that part of being a man is taking your hangovers as a consequence, not a punishment. And you can just hear him being a little anti-establishment. If I want to get drunk, I will. Like that kind of thing. I just think he's going to be really fun to read.
Well, I think it's potentially going to be one of the easier reads. One of 3 that we've done so far. Not that there's a lot to...
Well, this one's not in translation. It's our very first one that we will not be also interacting with a translator, which is another level of complication in interpreting a work.
That is a really good point. I didn't think about that. That's true.
I can already tell this is going to be a great conversation.
We're in the go here.
Mostly, I just miss doing this with you guys, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Indeed, indeed.
This is a fun team. And Charlie, our Charlie, fits right in.
Well, hopefully she won't, scream too much.
That's all right.
Now that she's been welcomed to the table and we can see her 4-head or 5-head or 6-head at this point in the camera frame, she's quite calm now that she's welcome.
She loves microphones.
She does.
They're very cool.
She's going to have a lot to say.
She is.
Well, thank you both. And thank you, listeners, for your patience as we have waited on starting this new season. And since my daughter has 2 handfuls of my hair, I think we're going to let you go. Thank you so much. Oh, Megan, you have something to say?
Are we going to tell them anything about their reading schedule or what they should read for our first episode?
Yeah. So we'll publish it to the website, but suffice it to say, we're going to read the first 3 chapters for our first episode. Ian is getting mauled right now.
I'm getting attacked. Listen, this was a great time to mention we also record the videos from our recording sessions. We're going to post them online, and you should go find this one because I am wrestling a miniature bear right now. Whew. All right, my friends. And so go buy you a copy of East of Eden.
We'll have a link to the edition that we're using in the show notes.
That is correct.
Edition. It's so beautiful.
Well, until we see you on episode 1 of How to Eat an Elephant, East of Eden. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.